TGCRequiem here. We're back with Dredge, third round of the league. Let's see here. This seems like a pretty underwhelming hand on the draw. The plus side is if our opponent doesn't shred our Cathartic Reunion with like a Thoughtseize, we potentially have a pretty strong hand. Get a couple dredges out of Life from the Loam. I think I'm going to keep this. This seems probably on the lower end of marginal keeps, but maybe like still technically marginal. What are we getting? Chalice for 1? Okay. Well, let's hope they don't have what's the card called? Ensnaring Bridge. Looks like we're playing red-white. Red-white. What's this deck called? Red-white Prison, basically. But not the greatest. I think we do want to be a little hesitant to use the Wooded Foothills here, just because we might build a crack it later to kind of want to return this Haunted Dead, but I want to make sure we don't under dredge. Don't want an Archamoeba quite yet. Perfect. And we have Conflagrate. Excellent, excellent. So quite possible that we get Blood Mooned. So we could Conflagrate right now for what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 4 does 16 damage. I honestly think it's probably worth Conflagrating here, and then we can just dredge, return Bloodghasts. Yes. We're not going to actually bring the Bloodghast in right here, though. We're going to plan to crack the fetch on our opponent's turn if possible. And then again, we're going to go ahead and Conflagrate for... Actually, let's do 6. I guess we can always dredge back, but we can dredge back the Dakmor Salvage as well. Yeah, we're just going to do 6. And And that way we have an extra way to return the Bloodghasts. And again, that gets our opponent down to 10, so the Bloodghast would have haste even if we did it on our turn. Nice. It forces the opponent to have to crack a Blessed Alliance to stay above 10 life. And we also have Haunted Dead as a potential way to... So we're going to be careful. We don't want to necessarily use Dak more. Probably looking at like a Wrath of God here. I apologize if it gets a little loud in the background. We're in the basement every so often. The blower for the air conditioner kicks on. Gideon. Till your next turn, prevent all damage target permanent would deal. Till end of turn. So, right. So I'm assuming this is going to go at Prized Amalgam. That's fine. We're going to return the Bloodghasts and kill this Gideon. I think we still want Stinkweed at Imp Dredging at this point. Yep, hits another Conflagrate, so now we'll start dredging Life from the Loam, but we'll plan to end step the... Alright, let's think about this real quick. So we want to attack Gideon. We just don't want them to get the emblem as long as you control a Gideon, because if they get another Gideon down, then we have to keep attacking that, which buys our opponent more time. Although do we care? I guess if they stop 3 points of damage, we're 6. If we do 6 points of damage here, and then we return Haunted Dead, that's 8 damage on the battlefield. Actually, I think we just attack everything at Duskblader here. And then again, we just plan to end step Haunted Den on our opponent's end step. Oh, that's brutal. Main deck Anger. So what I failed to recognize here is that this Gideon's, for some reason I was thinking this Gideon's had to sacrifice itself to do that, which is not the case. Looks like, yeah. Now we can just kill this Gideon with Conflagrate, but then we'll have used 2 Conflagrates. Getting that third's kind of scary, so I think we just keep attacking Gideon here and try to drive up our land total to throw at the opponent. Just trying to get it, make sure we have 4 red out there in case we need to both cast Life from the Loam and Conflagrate same turn. It's as long as you can, you can't lose the game as you, sorry. As long as you control a Gideon Planeswalker. I think we just kind of have to throw it right now. We're going to wait till after combat. Make sure we can get at least the 1 point on the Gideon. Well, no, I suppose there's no reason to really wait. The risk is that if the opponent pulls a Blood Moon, you're going to struggle to we could have 8, not quite lethal. Yeah, I think we're just going to play one more land here. Pass. We can Life from the Loam up to 7 lands next turn. Our opponent's kind of pressured to make a move on us, so we're going to eventually get to a point over the next 2 turns where we can get Gideon down to 1, Conflagrate to kill Gideon, and kill our opponent in the same turn. Was that a second Conflagrate? Excellent. So now we have 2 Conflagrates, which means we should be able to finish this fairly short order. And we're just going to go ahead and attack Gideon, get our opponent down to 2 right now. I think the concern here, though, is have to throw it all at Gideon. And if the opponent puts a second, like a replacement Gideon down, that's really problematic. Of course. I think we're going to spend this first conflagrate throwing all the damage at the opponent. We have 7. And then ideally the next conflagrate can kill Gideon. Allowing our spirit to do lethal. And the opponent just cracks a fetch to concede. Oh no, that's right, it doesn't matter, they can't. So they can't lose the game. This is so bizarre, I haven't played against this. Right. So we're going to be able to life from the loam here. And as long as we can kill the Gideon, the opponent loses. I have a fair feeling the opponent is going to just drop another Gideon here. Nope, doesn't look like it. Oops, and so then we'll just throw the conflagrate at the opponent. Redirect it to Gideon. What a bizarre match. Do you want to redirect? Yes. And now we just hope they don't draw another Gideon. Blood Moon. That's not a problem since we have so much dredge. We should be able to easily hit a creature that recurs something. So next time we're actually going to have to get the Dakmor Salvage now. So we can dredge Dakmor Salvage. We'll get 4 power worth of Bloodghast. Yeah, that's fine. And that should be lethal. Opponent has no cards in hand. And the opponent concedes. Alright. Well, that took a while, but we got there. Opponent didn't have to do a whole lot, but we had to do some thinking. Alright, so I think Thoughtseize seems strong here. I don't know the Collective Brutality is necessarily though. They're pretty much planeswalkers and things like that. Ancient Grudge seems like it's going to be necessary. The only other question is Abrupt Decay, and the concern with Abrupt Decay is if the opponent gets a Blood Moon down before we can do anything, that's a concern. We really just got to try and get underneath that. I think we're going to maybe cut one Faithless Looting here and all the Dark Blasts. Conflagrate's good, especially considering they have the Angers to wipe the... Yeah, I feel like we really need to have these Abrupt Decays because they're also going to have Rest in Peace post board. I think we cut one Conflagrate and probably a Life from the Loam. So this hits exactly what we need. This is almost like perfect. Thoughtseize away those layers of clay. Alright, so hopefully we can snag a Rest in Peace here. Blood Moon's also a concern, but now that we know it's there, we can play around it to Abrupt Decay, at least the first one. Rest in Peace, we don't really have any way to play around. So we have to plan to Abrupt Decay this first Blood Moon, which will allow us to Life from the Loam. And then if we get super duper lucky, so just float the mana there. So say if we get super duper lucky, we could draw another Thoughtseize and rip that Blood Moon, but that's not happening. And then this is just going to be the hope of getting our Dredge engine rolling. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Well, we don't have any other dredgers, so I think we actually just pass here, even though we could get the Blood Gas down. And then plan to discard Stinkweed Imp on the end of our next draw step. I mean, if we hit like a Cathartic Reunion, then we can get things rolling pretty hard, but okay. So question is, do we want to try and return Amalgam, Bloodghast, or do we want to just make sure we have... I mean, we definitely want to discard Stinkweed. The question is whether or not we want to discard Life from the Loam. think we're just going to have to hope to get a big draw here and that our opponent doesn't hit an Anger of the Gods. It looks like we whiffed pretty bad, actually. I mean, on the plus side, we are going to be able to probably take care of the Nahiri. And we are still in a position where we can discard at the end of the next end step. Opponent may have an Anger and that could just be game. I mean, honestly, that's probably just game, right? If it wasn't before, it is now. They've completely locked us out. You know, we may not have lost technically on turn 6, but we lost on turn 6. We'll be on the play for the third game. I don't think there's a whole lot more we want to do, save whether or not we want to just really get at them. I think we probably don't need Ancient Grudge. It's very possible that they just said, you know what, we do not need Chalice here because it's all Dredge. In which case we can try and bring in like another Life from the Loam and another Conflagrate. Or a Faithless Looting, maybe. Probably Faithless Looting makes more sense. Just to try and maybe speed up our Dredge, get off to a quicker start. It's possibly left Chalice in, but it also would make a lot of sense to me that they would pull Chalice, because all it takes is me getting a card into the graveyard. I think we have to mulligan this. And the thing is if we draw any Dredgers, this hand's pretty decent. Off the Faithless Looting, we get 2 shots. Actually, I think we're going to keep this. The fact that we have 2 Faithless Lootings, we're going to get to look at like 5 cards. And I guess we do have a Dredger with Dakmor Salvage, technically. We just need to get a super, super explosive hand here. Conflagrates are going to be pretty bad against that. Stinkweed, that's pretty great. So we're going to draw a Stinkweed and a Stinkweed, and then we'll discard Stinkweed and Life from the Loam. And Life from the Loam. Wow. So we just missed. Alright, now there is a Bloodghast, so we can next turn. We can do the whole Wooded Foothills and then plan to crack the fetch to bring back the amalgams. That's going to get us to swing in for what, 6, 10 points of damage before our opponent angers us. It's alright, Blood Moon. We don't have any basics anyway. If the opponent has an anger, we probably are done. I mean, we do have stinkweeds. I mean, our graveyard's still loaded. We just need them to not have. We need them to not have an Anger of the Gods. I mean, if they do, it's not like we're 100% dead, but I do think we can actually Faithless Looting here. Let's see, before we make a decision, if we get another Bloodghast, yeah, so we're actually going to say no here on the Narcomoeba, because we can play a land next turn. If our opponent has a Rest in Peace, then they lose. If they have an Anger of the Gods, they lose, I think. I think we've got them set up in a spot here where between Haunted Dead and Bloodghast, we have lethal in one of a couple ways. If they Rest in Peace us, we kill them with what's on the battlefield. If they Anger the Gods us, we kill them with what we have in the graveyard. Unless they can Anger us this turn and then Rest in Peace us the next turn. Right. So again, this is fine. Potentially. Because we can have Haunted Dead, which would represent... Oh no, we have no way to flash back Haunted Dead. Crap. We're out of black mana. We just gotta hope they don't have a second Anger. Slow rolling. I mean, if they have a Wrath of God, okay. We still are close now. Gotta be careful about over dredging. So no more dredges the rest of the game is really what it comes down to. We have Bloodghast here. We need no Angers. And we just need to do normal draw steps. The other deck more in hand can re-trigger the Bloodghast yet again. Down to 6 cards in the library. We cannot mill. Yep, that's game. We got there. Awesome. And of course I didn't write this up, but at this point the match is going to go 2-1. Get us to 3-0. Whew. Heck of a match. All right, so yeah, that's pretty great. Starting out, we're up to 3-0 and 6-1 in this league, which is hilarious because the first league I played I did terrible, but I also was learning the deck. So, yeah. So definitely explosive recursive power. We obviously had to fight through an anger, but a couple Wrath of Gods, and it all kind of worked out there in the end. Sure, I still am making mistakes, but if you enjoy, next match in the league will be on the left, center if you want to subscribe, and on the right hand side you can view matches from the playlist for Dredge. Have a good one.